Hello, ladies, gentlemen, airsoft helicopters, and all things in between. Tonight we are going to go over a gear overview. What piece of gear that is, of course, my brain bucket. Why the brain bucket? Because it is the last thing that I've worked on since I came home from. I did a stint of relief work down in Cork. So I'm going to go over the hows, the whys, the who de ha's, and all of that good stuff for my very simple helmet build. So starting from where all men fear, the receding hairline or the top of the helmet. The M81 cover that I have here, which is made by Big Dragon, M81 because it is my favourite camo of all time. Second to Cadpat and Merpat. So I have the cover on a base tan fast helmet by FMA. The helmet cover as well provides a kind of a less of a shiny surface. So actually we'll see here with my lamp. See how shiny that plastic is? So imagine that on a summer's day when you're in the bushes and you're like laying on your belt buckle and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take these guys out, and then like, you know, your helmet gives you away along with your white socks. So this kind of mitigates that a bit, even though my contour camera lens is shiny. But it gives a good aesthetic and it does help mitigate some of the shine. On the left side we have an Ireland patch. Ireland, of course, is my home country. I'm still living here, unfortunately. So this is a claw gear one. It actually fills up the Velcro quite nicely, and it's a little bit different to the usual Ireland flag. It has like a lemon border on the top with the Ireland in black lettering. So you'll see a lot of guys with those, either the subdued ones or the full colour like this. Some guys have IR ones, and those are cool, just I kind of prefer these. It's big and bold, just like how I like things. From there I have a rail adapter for my helmet that I actually mount a flashlight to at night games to assist in navigation, because I wear glasses and I'm blind as fuck. So that helps, and you know, it's a lot easier than mounting a head torch. I did have it on my replica Mick, who I gave to a very good friend of mine who is currently over in the States. Nicky, I want that back, please. So with the Mick, with the arc rails on the Mick, it was a lot easier because I could route the cord through the actual the rails themselves, because they had good outs for it. Something like the 2008 Rangers in the US Army Rangers would do. They'd have it on the left side, which is pretty cool. I wanted to copy that sort of a look. So behind the rail adapter I have my Peltor Contact 2s by Z-Tac. They're a replica, they're not real steel. I use them obviously for comms at events, and the sound amplification helps, as well as the noise reduction if like grenades and shit go off, and also they look cool. So I would have this routed into my Baofeng UV5R and I push to talk, and it would just be a lot handier than putting a Bowman on underneath a helmet. A Bowman I think suits a boonie and a baseball cap better than it does a helmet. So I have this would be more for my direct action and door kicker kit than my usual recce kit. Recce. With like my chest rig and my bolt action and all that stuff. So it's a pretty cool piece of gear. It runs off AA batteries. They are a great bit of kit to have, because you can just, if you don't want to run it with a helmet, you can just tie up the cord, and if you have them mounted on a helmet, you can tuck it up into the back between your pads, or if you have a counterweight pouch, you can actually feed the cable into the counterweight. It kind of gives it a nice tidier look, and will stop it from snagging and getting ripped and something breaking. We all know how airsofters like to be cheap, so replacing gear isn't a very good idea unless it is broken. On the rear we have a Malone name tape. This is probably going to be reversed. So Malone is my second name. People won't really be able to read this from a distance. It's more of just a cool guy thing, cool guy kit. Underneath that I have my Lancer Tactical V-Light for indicating I'm dead at night and not getting shot from the rear when I'm dead at night. And I have my FMA counterweight pouch with a lovely super glued tricolour because I love super glue. And yeah, if you can guess where I acquired this from, you get cool guy points. Now, on to the right side, I have the other Piltor Contact 2 by Z-Tac on the Z-Tac mount. And I have my contour camera. The contour camera is on the right side because it gives a better near first person view of me firing. Now, everybody with your GoPros that have them mounted here, this I find gives a much better audio and visual quality. Just a preference, just my opinion. If you want to do YouTube stuff, by all means go out and get a GoPro, get whatever camera you can afford. I just got this off a very good friend of mine, and it's actually worked an absolute treat. Kelly, I love you. So it is, like, I had to shorten the actual mount itself, so usually it would be a lot longer, but I've had to shorten it at the back here and cable tie it onto the actual camera itself. But the advantage with cable tying it on, and the way I did it, that I can still, I'll try and do this with one hand, I can still access the rear. So I can open up, put chargers, put my SD cards in, and, do all that cool stuff. Which does, like, it's the one thing I do love about Airsoft builds and stuff is, like, you can, it's, if something doesn't work, and you can problem solve and make it, why not? So yeah, and then on the inside, the only major thing that I have is I still have the standard pads on the inside, and my little DO and BB-8 sticker, because I am a massive Star Wars fan. So that's really everything I have on the helmet. Now, why would you wear a helmet? First and foremost, for an impression or a inspired kit. Like, let's say my kit is more inspired off MARSOC, so I'd have a lot of M81 gear, JPC, or an LBT 6094, fast helmet in tan. I just put the M81 cover on because I love it, and stuff like that. So then you could have the semi, like, bump protection where, like, if you're going through a low-hanging door or something like that, you don't want to knock your noodle because it can stun you a bit. It's not rated for, like, actual outdoor activities, like, let's say kayaking or rock climbing or stuff like that. It's not rated for that. So, but it's decent for, like, little knocks and stuff that you would get playing Airsoft. Then from there, Milsim, Belergan, which would be our big Milsim, Milsim events in Ireland. They're in Dundalk, for anyone that didn't know. They have uniform and headgear restrictions sometimes, so it's generally more towards the headgear, because headgear is cheaper than a full uniform. So you'd have generally helmets, berets, and bandanas on one side, and boonies on the other. So this is, if you have a helmet and you get a ticket for that side, wear the helmet. It does, like, they're versatile, they're great for mounting cameras and mounting equipment that you don't want to move all that much. So yeah, that's, if you want to, you can go out and buy a helmet, or if you can't afford one, like, you don't have to go out and buy all the Gucci kit to actually have fun playing Airsoft. I find that sometimes people think that is, like, that's the be-all end-all, that you have to have, like, the Gucci gear. You don't. All my stuff is, like, mid-tier, so I won't be stressed about that too much. But yeah, that's kind of the entirety of my helmet overview, and if you like it, let me know. If you don't, put it down in the comment section. It's pretty cool. I am putting this out, the information out for you guys to learn, and for me to learn as well as, a content creator. So, like, comment, share, all that stuff. You don't have to if you don't want to. It'd be cool if you did. But anyway, yeah. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time.